I took my house key back from my boyfriend after he refused to give me one to his place for months. My boyfriend and I have been dating for about 8 months. Things were going really well at first, and we were spending almost every night together, either at my place or his apartment. About 4 months ago, I gave him a spare key to my place. It felt like the right move since we were basically living together anyway, and I trusted him. When I handed him the key, he got all excited and said he'd get a spare made for his apartment too, so I could come and go whenever I wanted. That was 4 months ago. At first, I didn't think much of it. He said he had to check with his property manager about making copies. Then a week went by, then 2 weeks, then a month. Every time I brought it up, he had a new excuse ready. First, it was the property manager being difficult. Then he said it was too expensive to get a key made. I asked how much and he said $50. I told him we could literally go to Home Depot and get one made for like $5, but he said it had to be a special key that only certain places could copy. Then the excuses got weirder. He said he needed to get permission from his grandparents. That's when I found out the truth about his apartment. This whole time he'd been telling me he co-owned the place with his grandparents. Turns out he doesn't own anything. His grandparents own it completely and he just pays them rent, which is only $800 a month. He finally admitted he'd been lying because he was embarrassed that his grandparents owned his place while I lived completely on my own. We had a huge fight about the lying, but eventually I forgave him because everyone has their insecurities. But the key thing kept dragging on. He said his grandparents were hesitant to give me a key because a few months back, I brought my cats over to his place for the weekend and they scratched up some old carpet. His grandparents were mad about it, even though I immediately offered to pay for repairs or replacement. Every week I'd ask about the key and every week there was a new reason why it wasn't happening yet. Last week I finally snapped. I told him if he couldn't give me a key to his place, then I wasn't comfortable with him having a key to mine anymore. He looked at me like I was crazy. He said I was being unreasonable and acting too emotional, that it was easier for both of us if he just had a key to my place since that's where we hung out most anyway. I said that's exactly my point. If it's so convenient to have keys to each other's places, then why can't he give me one to his? He got all defensive and said I was making a big deal out of nothing, so I held out my hand and told him to give me my key back. He refused at first and said I was being childish. I told him I was serious. Either he gives me a key to his place by the end of the week, or he gives me mine back. He called me controlling and said I was trying to punish him over something that wasn't even his fault since his grandparents owned the place. I reminded him that if that was really the issue, he should have told me that 4 months ago when I gave him my key. He finally gave me the key back, but he's been acting cold ever since. He texted me saying I overreacted and that I'm going to regret making everything so complicated. I told him the only thing complicated is his ability to keep a simple promise. Now he's barely talking to me and I'm wondering if this relationship is even worth saving.